welcome everybody to this edition of Strong Perspective Podcast. This is the first week of, and I don't know about you, Jaquari. This is the first week of Black History Month, which I've always taken seriously. Learning Black history. But I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong, along with
Uncle Spoke.
and Damon Armstrong, going to join us momentarily. Guys and young ladies who catch this today, tomorrow, or any years beyond, let me say that inadvertently having a Black History Month because Gerald Ford. I remember when we celebrated Negro History Week. Yeah, we were still doing it when you was in school, Spoke, because in 1986, Gerald Ford first recognized Black History Month in February in 1976 because of bicentennial. So look, black folks, you good too. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why he did what he did, but he was the one to say, "Oh, okay, February, this is the bicentennial, this is Black History Month," right? And then in 1986, the Congress passed a bill to make it official that February was Black History Month. Because you remember, some states didn't accept it. No, that was Martin Luther King's birthday. Because I was thinking about Arizona. But in 1986, it made it into law that February is Black History Month. You know what I mean? And just a little note of history. Excuse me. Let me get my notes. Because I was curious, because I know they told us when we was kids where Negro History Week came from. But then I was so curious about it, I wanted to find out the origin. So I'm going to tell you, the crazy thing about it is in 1926, and give me a moment, I'm trying to remember the OG's name. But in 1926, he was the one who started. Here it is, right here. This is stuff that we learned if we was lucky to have a black teacher. You see what I'm saying? Not to say that white teachers would, but they never celebrated it. Just the black teachers, the men and women, celebrated Negro History Week. And hold on. Give me my notes all jumbled up, ladies and gentlemen. But
I think, man, it's considering the climate of today's political landscape or whatever, man. I think this Black History Month, man. At least the adults in our community, man. We need to really focus on trying to like bring awareness to young people, man. Because I don't really know if Black history is emphasized in schools anymore. Because I talk to a lot of young people, man, and they don't seem to have an interest in it. You know, at least when I was coming up, raised in our house, we always had conversations about historical figures with our parents. They told us about our history and everything, man,
yeah,
and even down to hell the hip hop we was listening to. I mean, it had all kind of artists, who freaking extol Black history and Afrocentricity or whatever. But you don't hear anybody any musicians talk about that
Yeah, yeah.
kind of thing nowadays.
I think, to be honest with you, it wasn't really reinforced in our school because think about the things we that still hung in our minds. Eli Whitney and the Cotton Gin, which we found out much later that patent was stolen from one of the black captivities people, right? Uh, we heard about Martin Luther King, right? It's a theme of this. We heard about let's see, civil rights movement, right? This is stuff that we're being taught really in world history, which is like 2 or 3 chapters worth. You know what I'm saying?
All the
Harriet
safe,
Tubman.
all the air quote safe aspects of Black history or whatever.
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah.
talked about the revolutionaries or the free thinkers. Well, the revolutionary thinkers, I should say.
Everybody was villainized. Malcolm X was villainized. Marcus Garvey was villainized because Marcus Garvey was able to really and truly find a tribe to push a movement, the Back to Africa movement. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Until, you know, criminal scandals stopped it in the air because he had a lot of black households,
Mm.
on it like that in his teaching. You know what I mean? Um, while I'm looking, how was your day today, sir?
It was productive, man. Pretty good way for me to end my week.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of fanfare. How about yours?
It was good, man. It was 1926. It was initiated by historian Dr. Carter G. Woodson
Mm.
and the Association for the Study of Color, Negro Life and History to promote the study of African American history. It was held during the second week of February. Remember, it was the second week of February to collide with because usually it always, for some reason, it always started on February 7th. Because, that is the second week of February. You know what I mean? But to collide with, this is funny, to collide with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. So it was designed to encapsulate those 2 birthdays.
Which also portrays a certain image to Black people.
Yeah, yeah. I think we always, which is funny to me, we always have been a conservative community, either because of the whips and chains or because of our dignity, the way we want to be treated.
But I mean, access to information, man. It begs the question, man. Is our conservative nature by design,
No,
or was it constructed?
look,
We just talked about all of the curated history that we were fed throughout our childhood, and it made us docile to certain shit, Keith.
no. See, I'm not disagreeing with you, but understand, being conservative, the only way it hurts you is if you allow yourself to be beat on without lashing back out. But being
Yeah,
conservative also, the positive point of being conservative is what? Having having a view of following directions of family, of everything. Because I say family because we were denied a family in the in the years up to the emancipation. We were designing with so what we would do. I think that it was the last, like going back, like, yo, where's my wife? Because I can have a wife now.
Mm-hmm.
I can stay by her side instead of her being ripped away from me.
But everybody else, I mean, everybody else is not beholden to that particular uh, facet of society, man. Everybody else, all their young men, they're encouraged to go out and sow their wild oats.
And then come back though.
Yeah, always come back or whatever. But I mean, throughout their youth, their fathers, tell them to get out there. It was. I don't know if it was a myth or not, but back in like the antebellum South or whatever, it was customary for a man to take his son to a cat house. You
Yeah.
didn't hear about, you never heard about anything like that happening in the black community. Everything, all the standards that we were raised under, it talked about stability from the gate.
Yeah. We say,
That was, I mean, and our conservative attitudes, man, kind of served as fucking handcuffs.
I know, it served the handcuff for what though? To sow your oats?
For, no, not to sow our oats, not to sow our oats, only, but to get out there and explore and figure out who we were. Everybody else, the Chinese, hell, the Japanese, Caucasians, Spanish, they have what you would call some facet of the fucking hero's journey, right? A young man going out to seek his fortune and everything, and
You
getting
don't
into
think
fucking.
we had that too?
Uh, Give me an example.
From the South,
Give me an
when
example.
from the South, when slavery was done, the mass migration to the North. That's a journey in itself.
You're not listening. I didn't say anything. That's
I didn't say,
that's reality that
but
happened.
you're talking
That
figures.
that that
I'm
that. Well,
talking
let me
about
let me let
that.
me finish. Let me finish. That happened out of necessity. Okay, all the examples I just made, those were stories. Those it was folklore. It was entertainment. We didn't get stories like that.
We did get stories like that,
Give
brother. It
me an
was
example.
cowboys. Where do you think the term cowboys come from?
Nobody. No. When did you find out the Cowboys were black, Keith?
What do you mean? It's what there's black people all through the
When did
West.
you find out the
By
Cowboys were black?
reading books talking about cowboys, bro, in libraries. Where they get the term
That
cowboy?
was it. Look, and we were encouraged to do so because our parents were readers and our parents
Okay,
were historians, so
of
we
course,
sought that shit.
of course. But see, you really didn't. But the thing that you're not understanding is we were encouraged to read, right? Because we didn't have the griots, right? Am I using that word correctly? We didn't have the storytellers where we grew up at. Some family members had some tales about grandfathers and their journeys, right? But you have to understand, in the South, there was always a mass, always, especially when it came to not being taken back to the South because of slavery, right? Going to the West, there were black men and women who did the same thing. They didn't get the same treatment, but they did the same thing. See, if we go off of what you're saying, in which I'm not totally disagreeing with you, so don't get me wrong.
I'm
But
just
the
playing.
majority of us
Just
would
playing
not
devil's advocate.
have grown up in the states of the North. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Yes, it was done out of necessity for a better way of life and all these different things, all the things that come with needing to leave, right? But hell, the people who think that they naturalized citizens of this world came from Europe in the same fashion through persecution, through everything. China, you mentioned China. You know why the Chinese came to America? Because they were being persecuted in their country for poverty. They didn't come over here they were able to, because of their skill level, they were able to eke out a living, right? But they ran. They ran from their countries. The people in Italy, in Europe, all they came here. Why do you think they developed Ellis Island? Because there was so many coming through wars, a lot of wars in Europe that they don't even tell us about. You know what I'm saying? But my point is this: you have a great point, right? But we have a rich history of being the first forerunners. We have a history of that. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's not. You know what? It's never told. Why do you think they're able? You know, since the last 8 years, they're able to go into these states with these simpletons and and try to erase Black history so it won't be told. Why do you think it's so easy to do that? Because it's so little of it. It's so little of it.
So little Black history.
Yes. I'm talking about in schools. In schools. No, you know what's so crazy? And really and truly, this is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you want to believe it or not, whether you're white, black, or any other shade, this is the truth. When our forefathers say that we built this country, do you not understand we were the farmers? Think about the South. They became millionaires off our back because we could grow the crops, take care of the crops, and sow the crops, right? We were the builders. We built every freaking structure. It was forced labor, but it was every structure. We built Washington, D.C. This is why it's the chocolate city. All those folks, the black men and women stayed. We built this country off our labor and our ingenuity. This is why a lot of black, I always tell people all the time, do yourself a favor and go to this, scroll through the Pat Pending, especially in the early years. The inventions that weren't stolen, you will be amazed how many black men and women have patents in this country. It's the truth. This is what always bothered me is just a little bit further. If you just go a little bit further in the library, because it's all there, but you go a little bit further, you'll have an understanding what our true contribution has been in this country. Because you know what? And tell me what you think about this. The black community, even though it's been persecuted and stereotypes been thrown on us, we are the stabilizers of this country. And the reason why I say we bring stability to this country is because we are the most restricted. We cannot walk anywhere and be anywhere unless we are in a power position, but just as civilians like other communities, we cannot be there. We will always be under scrutiny. And we are going through this, and our children, even though they might have it a little bit better because they're sitting in the house on these screens, but our children have the same scrutiny, right? And we have not exploded. Is that not stability? Is that not being a stabilizer to you? I'm not asking you this question. I'm speaking, just rhetorically. See, this is what I see, and I love it when love it and hate it at the same time when they say, "Hey, Keith, that's a great point of view." I just spit pure facts to people, and you say it's a point of view. So you want to believe in the strife and you know what I'm saying? Now, dude, you can easily look up what I've said, right? You can easily look it up. But you choose to say, "Oh man, that's a great man. I love your point of view." No, this is facts, people. I don't know, but I think the overall theme of the show today is the easy stereotypes. It's the easy stereotypes that we want to discuss, where white, black, Asian, European, uh, nations from Africa, they choose to believe about us who live in this country. You have anything to say before I put the first one up there, bro?
I don't.
Let's mess with this a little bit. All right. I'm gonna put it up and I want you to marinate on it for a second. It's an easy read.
Yeah.
So in my mind, my mind, I was trying to understand because I always fought this. I always fought that this BS my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Because I always seen the hard working men and black men and women of our community, 2 or 3 jobs and doing all kinds of overtime and all this, whether or not it was healthy or not. I seen it growing up. Yeah, my view was my view, but my thing is, imagine other people's view of this, because everybody don't live on Hood Street. That's only one Hood Street in every neighborhood that you don't belong on. You know what I'm saying? So it was funny. I wanted to, what I wanted to do is find out the origin. Some of these things I knew, but first we'll let you comment on the phrase up there, Jaquari.
Black people are lazy. I mean, it's complete and utter bullshit. I mean, how long have you knew known black men and women who had regular jobs and hustles? I've always heard black people, talking about having a hustle, whether they were gainfully employed or unemployed. Trying to figure out a way to make some money.
Yeah.
Just because we don't want to work for pennies or for some jackass, don't mean that we lazy. We got standards about shit.
I always felt like we always had going on every job that I had. There's always one brother or sister who put that grind in. But as a whole, we all grinded. Now there's it's human nature that you'll run into lazy people. That's
In
white.
all in all races, in all races.
Yeah, you know what's so funny about it is our uncle Essie, said something, and it was the most profound thing that I've ever heard. He said, "Keith, the laziest people make the best supervisors."
That's everybody's goal, man. Everybody want to be a team leader or supervisor.
Yeah,
Like, no, that's bullshit, though, man.
I know.
That's bullshit. I mean,
So,
that's that.
so why is it funny, Jaquan?
Cut, man. Look,
There's so much damn truth in that. It ain't funny.
motherfuckers think I got it so easy on my job,
You know what's so crazy? Micromanagers are lazy people when they're in charge.
man. Look, man. You know. Last week when it snowed or whatever,
Yeah.
and I talked about it then, man. I can't stand a person, man, who who stand around and tell me how to use my back. It
Yeah,
makes it angers me, man. It makes me angry. But shit, yeah. Middle
yeah.
management is a goal, man. Middle management is everybody's goal. Is because they think it's different.
But you know what it is?
They think it's different, and I don't know where we got that attitude,
You
man.
know what it is? It's the middle management. It's the overseer of modern time. Because you know they
Yeah,
took overseers as white men in the slavery days,
yeah, yeah,
and they were brutal because they did not want their scraps to be taken away
yeah. They
from them.
didn't want their positions to be fucked up. Yeah, I get it. I mean, but that don't make that don't mean that shit was easy.
Like what Roots, the next generation was the perfect example of the micromanager thing. Because remember I hated Roots. I'm gonna go on record to say that because all it did was show uh, black misery, and we were supposed to be overjoyed because we seen it. We used to be.
Which wraps around to my earlier point, man. They gave us shit to keep us docile, okay? Conservative, safe shit.
Everybody, but see, it kind of backfired because the younger folks was going through the high school. Because I was in middle school by then, but I heard stories about high schools, bands of black kids was going around, especially the more mouthier white kids, and jumping on them and screaming "Roots, Roots, Roots." So let me read this. What somebody said was untrue. It said black Americans have always worked often harder and under worse conditions than others, from slavery to sharecropping in today's labor force. Data consistently show that black people participate in the workforce to at comparable rates, often while facing hiring discrimination, wage gaps, and fewer opportunities.
I dig it, man. But that that's black people being lazy, man. That's not an argument, man. That I'm willing to verbally challenge, man. You stand next to me and match my steam, bro.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
I think
It's some shit, man. That I feel undignified in addressing, and that happens to be one of them.
I think what my problem with that phrase is it gives the folks in charge, whether they're white or black or Hispanic or whatever, Asian, give them license to brutalize you and crack the whip unnecessarily because they believe in that stereotype. Because it's easy for another community to believe in that stereotype. You want to know why? Because quote unquote the man can't concentrate on them if we all beating up on the black folks. You know what I'm
But
saying?
where they had that meeting though, man? Because it's
Oh
everybody.
no.
It seemed to be everybody.
When they come, listen. You know when the whole thing when it comes to excuse me becoming an American citizen, you take classes.
Hmm.
The one group that gets it the worst, as far as the worst description and everything, is us. That's what's being told. I'm telling you, that's what's being told by the different people, folks coming from the islands, coming from everywhere. You gotta think about they
I'd have
all
to. I need to have that conversation, man. Because
require.
because
Hold on, hold
I'm
on.
punching somebody in the face, man.
Look,
You
let me just say
motherfuckers
this.
is telling these people in class.
Yes, yes. Because you want to know why? You know, I'm gonna tell you what the confirmation is. They say the same exact thing verbatim. Think about it. It's the same thing being said.
Man,
Somebody teaching you that, dog.
I always thought it was. it was like a bitter uncle or auntie or something. You know, you stay away from them blacks now. They get
Stay away from them.
you.
Yeah,
They get you bad. Like that. But in class, how could you be? How could you be from a black nation or whatever?
especially
Okay, well, never mind.
not because I'm gonna tell you from a black nation because we talked about how many black nations. Did I say it was 68 of them, 38? It was something like that.
Bunch.
But here's my thing. They want to get here because they have to take a test. They have to go through a certain probation. So
Look in Ghana, for them to even be for them to even get a visa, it's a fucking lottery system.
yeah.
So the ones who come over here, they lucky as fuck already.
And guess what they're doing? They following it to a T. Whatever that booklet says, that's what they're doing. Because you're escaping. I understand that you're escaping something when you're trying to get here. But once you get here and you see that you're being treated better, you're being treated better than the folks who's here, you look down on them. You look down on them.
Yeah, I mean, but they don't. You look. If you left if you left your country because the man had his foot on your neck,
that look just like you, but go ahead.
yeah, you, that's the first point. You us, you get it. Y'all the niggas wherever y'all was.
There you go. See, that's the whole point, though.
And that's white or black.
When it's in their country, it's not the color thing. The color thing is naturally grown here. That monster was raised here. There is poverty and elitism. You see what I'm saying? It's poverty and elitism. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because they got people that look just like them.
Kicking them in the ass.
Kicking them in the nuts.
So it's not, it's not,
yeah. So, see, that's interesting, but yeah. So here's another easy one to discuss I'm talking about.
Black people don't value education. Wow.
And I found that funny because the three of us have our college education. It was emphasized by our parents to do so.
Education was so important to me, man. I got a degree and don't even fucking use it.
Man, but that's something that you.
That wasn't a facetious remark.
Listen to what I'm saying to you. You have a choice whether or not you want to use it or not.
Right.
And that's what education is. Education gives you a choice.
Yeah. My overall point to getting educated, in the first place was, I didn't need to be educated in order to be in order to sustain my life. I can work anywhere.
But you gotta think about it. Around our time, baby boomers and is it Gen X, right? I'd say that just in reference, folks. I don't believe in that bullshit. But in reference, our parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles emphasize, in order for you to make it, you gotta go to college.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that they emphasized this shit. Even though we could get a trade, construction, electrician, all those things in which we are good with our hands and we're perfect for those things also, right? It was a mass migration to education.
Can I
go ahead?
Really quickly? I talked about my degrees in theater, right? Okay. Denzel Washington, degree in theater. Samuel L. Jackson, degree in theater. Name any other black prominent actor.
Yeah.
More than likely, a degree in theater. Did Tom Cruise graduate from college?
Nope.
Did Brad Pitt graduate from college?
No.
A couple other white actors or whatever did not dropped out of freaking high school.
Now some of them went to these acting schools also.
Yeah, but
Great
they dropped out of high school, primary school, dropped out, which further reinforces my point. We do not encourage our young people to go out and take advantage of their youth.
But can we afford it though? You gotta think about it. Gene Hackman, rest in peace to that great actor. Gene Hackman did not become a A-list actor until he was in his 40s, early 40s, late 30s.
Neither did Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman, the same thing. That's my point. Is sometimes you have to wait on a chance and be something, even though education is very, very important. I stress it.
Yeah.
You know why? Because you have to understand, have to have the capacity to understand if it's being written to destroy you, to interpret it and to stop it. Because they didn't, when back in bringing up slavery again, they did not want us to be educated because they did not want us to know that, and speaking in general terms, they did not want us to know that they was fucking us over because they had to read, they wrote down their doctrine to follow. They said all men are created equal. That's why they threw in that caveat about when slavery time, they described us as what, 1/8, called us chattel.
Mm.
They put property on us, even though 2 arms, 2 legs, breathing, the whole 9, heart, all this stuff, just the hue of our skin. So when you're educated, you know the only reason this man or this woman is talking shit to me back in them days, and sometimes these days, is because they're white. And I'm speaking mostly, the early years of this country. But when you're educated, like the black folks of the North who are educated, they walked around like, yo, this is my right. This is here. This is mine. This is this. This is that. You feel what I'm saying? That's why they didn't, in the South, they didn't promote education, because education brings, in their eyes, divisiveness. That's why it's important that black folks, while I feel black folks think, knows education is important. Because you got to understand what a motherfucker doing to you.
Yeah. We were taught, and for a long time, we witnessed without having the privilege to enjoy the fact that education brought comfort. And then when we got into a position to be educated, to, quite possibly acquire that comfort, they started charging, fucking tuition for college.
Ain't that a bitch? Now, Ronald Reagan, you know why Ronald Reagan became president of the United States? Because when he was governor of California, he implemented something to put white folks ahead. Because once you started paying for education, right? Because you had to pay for room and board. That was it. That's what you had to pay for. Mm-hmm. But what he did, he implemented where you had to pay for the education. So these universities like, yo, our education is valuable. So you got to, you know what I'm saying? Now, look, conspiracy wise, he saw the Black Panthers and all these, they were all educated black men and women. So what he did was a knee jerk, like, man, wait a minute. What do you mean he has a degree in this and he's a doctor and all this? Yeah.
Doctor Nigger. What you mean, Doctor Nigger? Ain't no Doctor Niggers nowhere.
But the point I'm trying to make is he initiated that, and it became countrywide for paying for education, and it was because of black folks, in which we had to. And then they felt in California they felt bad because this was happening this way with the big university. So for a very long time, you still got to go to community college for free if you were a resident. If you was a resident, you know what I'm saying? You still did. They rewarded Ronald Reagan in bigotry for him becoming the president because like, look, you brought some slick shit in there, my man. Yeah, that's some elitist shit you just pulled. You know what I'm saying? And you know what it was also? Gun laws. You was able to carry guns wherever the hell you wanted to carry them. But gun laws had to do with the Black Panthers. And what it did was, it started in California. Next thing you know, it caught fire. White folks didn't mind because all they had to do was just go in and fill out and boom, that's it. But black folks had to have a reason to have it in a lot of states. Now, this is why I respect New York City, man. New York City, you can't be in there with a gun. You can't do it. They just changed it maybe 10, 15 years ago, where law enforcement officers from other jurisdictions was able to come in there with a firearm. But see, that's why, like I said, New York City is a pretentious place, but
it ain't just New York. It's DC too.
Yeah. But it is what it is. Let me read what's untrue about this. What it says is black families have long viewed education as a path to freedom and advancement. Historically, black colleges and universities, HBCUs, church scholarship funds, and community tutoring traditions exist because education is valued. The reality, underfunded schools and systematic inequalities affect outcomes and not values. You have anything to add to that? Because that pretty much said what we were just sitting here chopping it up about.
No, I'm good.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is our commercial. When you see this, please go like, share, and subscribe at our YouTube channel, Strong Perspective Podcast. Just, take the time, let your friends know, please, while you're there, look at the videos, man, because I'm going to tell you, the thing about it is we are a hidden gem when it comes to knowledge, when it comes to perspective. Is why we call it Strong Perspective. Because everyone that comes on there does have a strong perspective. And this is about conversation. This is what we're doing. We are making conversations about life in general, period. Now, we can get on our soapbox, the three of us, me, Jaquari, and Damon, we can get on our soapbox and give you our realities and to back them up, right? But here's the deal: we promote conversation. So if you wanted to, if you want to understand and let the seeds of our beliefs and opinion to be planted inside you, that's fine. But also understand what's just important, just that's important, is we are men and women who are having conversations, whether we agree with each other or not. We're having conversations about what's what. Okay? Next, Ja'Quari.
See, black people are naturally violent or criminal.
I'll take this first. 30 years of law enforcement, a little longer than that, but just actual law enforcement because I was in juvenile lockup for a couple of years. I used to tell people all the time, and they was thinking I was being facetious when I said this. I do not police black communities. I police crime in black communities because that's where I was stationed at to do. So I understand the crime that I'm going to, not the people living there, but the actual crime. Why am I here? Understanding it, right? When it came to the domestics, a lot of, maybe 50% of the time, those domestics were first time offenses, and those folks was having a bad day. And what I did was, I was there to help alleviate the immediate problem. Now, if a person makes me pass judgment on them, that means that they've been pressing the issue and all this. But the scale of what's going on, that's how I did it. Because you know that you're going in there with regular human beings, the people you pass every day in the supermarket and everywhere else. You know what I'm saying? So I look at this question: black people are naturally violent or criminal. And I see it in a different light. And the light that I see it in is, you got your frequent flyers. Every other Saturday, you going to the same house with either drunk parent, right? And they are violent towards each other. So you handle that the best way you know how, because you know they are human beings and they got scars. You take care of yourself, you take care of your partner, you take care of whatever victim is in that house. That's your job. And I ended up being very good at that job. Sometimes it's hard to not jump to a conclusion when you see the bad in people every day, because that's what law enforcement is. Yes, we sprinkle in good deeds and also run into good Samaritans. I get that. But the majority of your job is seeing the bad in people. And you have to be stabilized. You have to be a certain way. Now, I'm going into this by saying that most people don't understand where I worked the whole county. So in my career, some folks can't say this because I have a partner that's a good friend, and he said to me, man, that's all I ever arrest is black folks. These black folks this. He was a little more derogatory than that. I had to check him. But yeah, that's all I ever did. We can't do right. We can't do it. I said, well, where do you work? He said, what do you mean, where do I work? Where is your assignment? Where do you patrol? Do you patrol in all black neighborhoods? Yes, I do. So this is not a trick, my man, but bro, what do you think you're gonna see if you patrol in all black neighborhoods? What color skin you gonna see, folks? I said, I've been all over this county. Do you understand that it's pretty close on how many people has thousands of arrests over my career that between white people and black people, they was fighting. You know what I'm saying? Am I bragging about the arrest that I made? No. What I'm saying to you is I see human beings and I've arrested a lot of white people from doing horrible things. But I also arrested a lot of black people from doing horrible things. So tell me, you worked in this area the majority of your patrolling, what are you going to see? Right? Then I said, let's do this. Compare the good people that you ran into as opposed to the not so good people. Are they even? Or is the bad people a small percentage? And I let him just come to that conclusion. I wasn't trying to convince him to do anything, but understand what you see instead of sometimes what we go through influences how we feel. And I was careful with that. I'm a human being, but I was careful with that. So what do you think, Jaquar?
I don't think black people are any more violent than anybody else. I mean, we certainly have a certain stylized nature to our shit. Yeah, I mean, but
You said stylized.
I mean, you know, it's. I mean, look, I think like if you take like World Star, you know, or any other like fighting platform people, you know, where they show like street confrontation and stuff like that. There is a pageantry, you know, to our fuckery. You know what I mean? It's special. It's special. It's like, you know, in breakdancing, what they call right before you right before you like do your windmill and then do your little stuff on the floor or whatever. You know, you pop your locking and all that. They call that the up rock.
Okay.
Black people got to up rock before they fight. You know, dancing around and shit, and you know, and being all vocal and all that. You know, and you know, if you ain't ever seen it before, you don't know what the fuck's going on. It's like, you know, you ever seen footage of like the Maasai warriors
Yeah.
when they start jumping and shit right out before they go out and start killing lions and shit, they just jumping up in the air and shit. We do that too here in America.
Geeking himself up. Yeah.
Geeking themselves up. Yeah, I mean, you know, and black people are naturally funny and entertaining, you know, and that could be rather disconcerting when somebody is entertaining you right before they punch you in the face. So I mean, our shit is special, and I'm not, you know, I'm making, you know, I'm making light a little bit, but you know, it's that's just one of the things that's different about us.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen, I mean, I've witnessed hardened thugs, you know, bring peace.
Yeah.
I've seen that. So
No, it's true. I think when you immerse yourself into, and that's the key to it. If you immerse yourself into your situation, say you want to be in the street, because all of us are not in the fucking street. We're street adjacent. We got a friend. You feel what I'm saying? Or we dress like we, but really the majority of us, we take our dumb asses home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the vast majority of us.
Mm-hmm.
Not because we're afraid, but we love peace.
Absolutely. Since I've moved to Northern Virginia, okay, I've always lived in diverse neighborhoods. Don't get me wrong, but I miss living around primarily black people.
That's
I
it.
miss it
That's it.
as loud and air quotes as potentially violent as it could be. There's a comfort that it brings me
Yeah,
because I know that 98% of the time, you know that violence really ain't gonna touch you unless you out in the streets fucking off.
it is. I mean, some of
And things happen, and tragedy happens,
it does,
and
man.
I'm not making light. I am not making light. But for example, I'm sure y'all got this, one particular road in where you live that if you can pretty much drive down this road, as long as you ain't driving reckless and too far over the speed limit, the police ain't gonna fuck with you. So when you drive down that road and you see that the police got somebody stopped, they did something real fucking stupid. That's how I feel about living in the black community.
I get it. I think we're very, to me, and I don't want this traditional conservative tag. We're not we're not traditionally conservative, but what we do is, as a community, we want peace. This is what we want
Okay.
because of what happened to us in the past, because of understanding what's betrayed, what people see us as. Now, I said last week, I don't give a fuck how you see me. It's how you treat me. You can say, well, you think I'm a bad character. You can say all these different things. That won't hurt my feelings because that's who you are, whether or not you are right or you just lack this real perspective. But the thing about it is, yes, I love peace. You want to know why I love peace? Because if I got children and my loved ones, my wife, my parents, and everyone, if peace gets them home from their daily journeys, that's what the fuck I'm gonna stick to. I'm gonna stick to. Period. That's just that's it. Of course, we go through our youth where we want to be wild cowboys. I mean that happens to all of us. We want to be cowboys, but really and truly, growing up under a cowboy until the day that he passed, understanding what real life bullshit is about. If I was to make that choice, if I was to voluntarily put myself there, I'm one of the newest fucking fools I've ever met in my life.
Mhm.
It's the truth. Our father was a great, outstanding father, right? But his bullshit he always came in and encapsulate us.
He had the best bullshit.
True.
He had the best
He
bullshit.
went to work every day now, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm not saying that he was this typical street dude, but he straddled it. And it gave me the time to look and like, yo, man, I know this. I'm familiar with this. I know what comes with this. And if I dip my toes in it, maybe I'll have some success because I see the shit. But really and truly, the longevity, motherfucker, you gonna be in jail or dead. It's, that's it. Now, do I sound like I'm judging? No. That's truth. It's truth.
It's not a judgment, man, because there's people in the streets, man, who absolutely disdain a 9 to 5
Yeah.
and make more money.
And they look, and they do that for normalcy too. Of course, they want to, launder their money, whatever, whatever. But really and truly, they do that to feel normal. This is how I know our experience is what it is. Because you have to have some normalcy, or your shit, your paranoia, and everything will, man, it'll take its toll on you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, look,
Too,
let me go ahead, Jaquan.
no, I'm saying too many examples, man. Too many examples, man, of dudes who did straddle that line.
Mm-hmm.
Too many examples.
And
Good
guess
dudes,
what?
man. Good
And if
dudes, man.
and
And
if
for
they
me,
had,
man, for me, a couple of them, man, put me in the mindset of shit. I could have it all, goddamn it. But shit, it ain't, it ain't really possible. I don't think.
no, because really and truly, most people don't understand. People say you gotta be paranoid and not trust anybody in the drug game, but bro, the drug game is nothing but fucking trust.
Yeah, it's just, it's just
Well,
oxymoronic bullshit, man.
it
You
is
got
oxymoronic.
you got to trust a criminal.
You have to.
You got to trust you got to trust somebody who was just laughing with you about fucking somebody over a little while ago.
Let's simplify it a little
My
more.
God.
Let's simplify it a little more. You gotta trust that fiend that's coming to buy shit for you.
Hmm.
You gotta trust that new plug who's giving you this great deal. It is trust. And guess what? You get thrown in prison because of that trust too. That's what it is. But let me read this real quick. The untrue. And see, that's the thing about it is I'm doing this to give people an idea on how I think. You know what I'm saying? And I constructed this in a certain way. So it'll verbalize what I see every day, and also put it in the stance of you can understand it. You know what I mean? Understand where I'm coming from. And this is gonna be a theme. We ain't gonna spend a whole show this whole month of February, but we're gonna take a segment and go different themes and talk about this Black History Month. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I love being black, man.
Yeah.
I really and truly, I've always loved being black. Okay. It says untrue and dangerous. Crime is tied to poverty, environment, and policy, not race. Over policing, social profiling, and sentencing disparities inflate arrest and incarceration numbers, creating a false narrative. The reality, crime statistics reflect systems, not biology. So really and truly, I did that for the folks who want to be scholars and want to dispute what I'm saying. I'm just giving you a little bit of why I feel that. You know what I mean? Now I had to go in there and, because I had a lot of motherfuckers and kiss my asses in there. So I had to, throw all what I mean into a pot and bring it back to me so I can reach the masses. Okay, this next one, Jaquari.
See, all black people think the same.
I
Well,
had to put this down.
yeah, I think I think we're intended to think the same,
I get it.
but
I get it.
there's you know there's some situations, you know, and quite honestly, it's a good thing that it don't catch, because some of us has got to be awake.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I think for me to answer that question, I have to understand that no, man, we have a lot of contrary people in our community. I chose the word contrary because contrary people is they look at you like, yo, you sound right, but how I see you, I'm not sure if you're right or not.
But
And
I sort of enjoy that, man, especially with black people, man. I like talking to black people, man, and having them having to Google some shit that I just said. I love that.
no, I get that. I think my only problem is when it affects forward motion. And unfortunately, our community is bogged down by the contrariness of who we are. I used to always say that we have, as to a man and a woman, we have an independent mind and independent spirit.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Unless it's something not good for us. Now I'm just throwing that out there. I don't completely believe that, but you gotta think about it. Our young men and women, ever since we was little boys, the gang has always been appealing. And I always wondered why. Some people try to say, well, the gangs give you a sense of family. It means a sense of ass whooping because if you fuck up that package, they're gonna either beat you half to death or they're gonna kill you. You know what I'm saying?
I, I totally get your point, man. I mean, but we've all lived gang culture, Keith. We've
What do you mean?
all we played football, we played basketball.
Uh,
They were gangs.
no,
They were gangs.
point taken, but you understand when I say gang culture, what I'm
Can,
talking about.
yeah, yeah. Gang culture can be compared to locker room culture in some aspects, bro.
No, it is because you're following a coach, you're following a captain, you're following these things. I get that. But I said gang culture because of it turned from being protective to predator. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying. And that can happen in a team setting, regular team setting too.
yeah. I mean, good sports. I mean, you sports
Sports, but
is a constant display of predatory nature, man.
but see, this is my point though. They are similar in a lot of ways, but the gang culture is a finite thing. It can be. It can be. And where somebody will make a mistake trying to be a part of the group and take a life. And in a lot of situations, not every situation, but that life that was taken was an innocent life. And their excuse is, these are my brothers. This is my family. Now, that small percentage of folks that participate in it, right? They do it for several reasons. For safety, because there may not be no fighters. You feel what I'm saying? There might not be a fighter. Um, for safety, to feel like you're a part of something, to feel like you're the man or you're the woman. Self-esteem, a false sense of self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? And I just brought that up just for example more than anything, not to beat up on it, because I'm gonna tell you, there have been gang members, men and women, who became saviors of the community. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not Xing it out. I'm saying that that's an example of how we see things. So I found this one funny because this is so true, right? It says this is completely false. Black people are not a monolith. There are wide differences in politics, religion, class, culture, geography, and ideology. Some real shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's real. The reality of black communities contain conservatives, liberals, radicals, independents, believers, atheists, and everything in between.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wish I had that magic, man. And the magic that I'm talking about is to know the truth and be able to relay it and teach it to others.
You would do that?
Oh man, in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Because if I
Real.
know the truth, and I'm talking about the wide spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
if I know the truth, I'm planting seeds. Because see, the thing about it, where we make the mistake at is we can come with the absolute truth. Some people believe instantly, but some people you have to plant the seeds so they can be sown.
But see, I agree with you up to a point. If I had the ultimate truth, it wouldn't be important to me if anybody believed it.
But we're on the
Is that,
same page.
yeah.
It's not
Okay.
important, but that's why I said if I know the truth,
Mhm.
I will plant the seeds, even when people do not understand me or do not believe me. You can still plant the seed for somebody else to sow later on. That's what I believe.
Because I'm thinking. I mean, because Jesus said, I am the way, the light, and the truth.
Hmm.
He's Jesus. You know what I mean? And if I say, well, I got this ultimate truth, that's grounds for questioning right there.
It's a good point. But let me say that in response. This is how I would respond to that. If you have the truth, there's the there's the immediate truth, right? There's the immediate truth in which there is a reason you need to believe me. I need you to believe me right now. But then I'm moving on with my life truth in which someone gives you a nugget and you choose to believe it, then, or later on, something happens for you to believe it.
The truth, man, it's a wild thing, man. Because it's a beautiful thing, man. But it can be so ugly for some people. And
Yep.
and facing it, man, is like the ultimate key to that person's success. Because once they get past that obstacle, the thing that's been an anchor around their neck, their whole lives. Once they can release that thing, the sky is the limit.
Yeah.
You know, any difficult situation, man, that I've been through once, I've never been through again. At least when I became a man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. But if you were to, let's switch this up just a little bit. Um, what does Black History Month mean to you?
Uh,
Let's man that in for a couple of seconds because what the reason why I say that is because early in the podcast I told you about uh, the origins of Black Negro History Week. You know what I'm saying? And who was the founder of it?
hmm,
You know, is it Carter Woodson, 1926?
gee, what's
Um, Also, Gerald Ford during the bicentennial, he decided, well, there's a reason why he did it, that the month of February that year would be Black History Month. And then 1986, it was ratified into law that the month of February was Black History Month,
mm.
right? In your mind, what does that mean to you?
uh, it was important. It's still important, but when I was younger, it was important, you know, because we got to talk about black people, you know, for at least 15 minutes, you know, a day in class or whatever. But eventually, that wasn't enough, you know, because we talked about the same thing, same people, the same events over and over again, and I became disillusioned with it until I started to go out and seek it for myself, you know, and once I started to do that, not only did I understand the contributions that, you know, black people have made to this country, I started to understand, you know, why we're so important to the fabric of this country. You know, I mean, there's an immense amount of pride there, immense amount of pride.
That's a good word, fabric.
As far as, you know, how I feel about it now, I think I think my forever could definitely use a recharge. You know what I mean? Because I like I said, you know, and working with young people, I don't see an extension of it. I don't see an extension, and I'm not vilifying the young people. I'm not. You know, it's if I'm
They,
around them, if
they're
I'm
not
around,
they're not being taught it though, man.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I'm around them and I'm not teaching them, that's my fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
And
I,
it's the significance of it, Jaquari. See, this is the thing. I can tell you something, but if you have not gone through what I went through, I'm 61, right? So I went through a separate amount of things in this country than my sons have because of me and their mom. They didn't have to go through those things, right? So finding a way to emphasize, finding a way to emphasize how important it is. See, that's the key. If you have a dialogue with your child, nephew, niece, grandchildren, how important it is for them to hold on to it because they're going to need it later because they're going to have children and their children are going to need because it's a part of our identity. You know, the history of it is a part of our identity. I'm sorry, we was on the order. I need an office. But it you know what it's shortcuts. We take too many shortcuts. My sons and my wife say that I talk too much about stuff. But that's being purposeful and having them to understand that I'm planting seeds.
Mm-hmm.
We have to become our own personal griot when it comes to our families. Now, if you want your children to be rich and you want to put them, give them the legacy of being rich and doing all these things and not have to worry about quote unquote being black, that's on you. But they trying to really hijack our identity, especially in this country.
Mm-hmm.
You said it earlier, the fabric. We are the fabric of this country, and we've been treated, we silk, right? But we've been treated like fucking burlap.
Burlap has its merits.
Yeah, you know why? It's durable. But no, but my point is, you have to keep doing it. You got to keep going. Malika said, did we, Generation X and older, drop the ball with the teaching our history with our children and grandchildren? I wouldn't say we dropped the ball. I would say we didn't put it as priority because to me, I have to believe, Malika, that we do when the time it comes and we have to say it, we do communicate history that's related to what our children and everybody's going through. But see, sometimes that's not enough because the chances to repeat it, to convey it, right, may be too far in between because there's no constant hostility that we all had to go through in our age group.
We definitely, tried to instill a black identity in our
Yeah,
household.
yeah, yeah.
Does it matter that other cultures don't recognize the extent of the extent of black heroes and vendors and just the things of black people?
But you know what, Jeff? That's a good point. But Jeff, I my brother Damon was saying it last week where we was telling folks, he was saying that we made it possible. We did this for y'all. We went out here to do this for y'all and all this. And I respectively interrupted him and say, no, we did that for ourselves. We did that for ourselves, and that's what matters. You know what I'm saying? To your point, Jeff, it's good to be recognized, but I would rather our community recognize it among us than the outside folks. Because once we recognize it, we can build up a defense and arm ourselves to be protected from the bullshit. What you think, Jaquar?
I mean, anytime, anytime,
Good point, Jeff. No, go ahead.
yeah, anytime a grown woman will steal a TikTok dance, from a little black girl, 13, 14-year-old black girl. I mean, that don't say and make millions off of it.
Yes.
Make millions off of it.
Yeah.
And then turn around and invite the little girl to do the dance with her on her fucking podcast and make millions more off of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that she was able to do that because it was a little young girl. But then the older black folks like pulled the car like, yo, hold on. You getting robbed, young lady.
mm,
They're not giving you your credit. Black folks came to her rescue. I don't know whether or not she got the money and compensation, but my point is, and to your point, is it enough that she got recognized that it was her dance? Or
no.
was the money? The money had to do with it mostly for you.
Yeah, if there's any kind of finances generated, it should be, yeah, she should have been on that.
You know, we were talking about the Pat Pending office early in the podcast, weren't we?
Hmm.
It's the same thing. It's the same
And
thing.
and
So,
morally, man, you know that's I kill over that argument, man. You know, you telling me you gonna steal my idea and I can't make money off of it because I didn't patent it?
yeah. But see, that's where it's
Seriously?
always been the case, though. That's why Thomas Edison is still in our damn history books because he stole a lot of shit
Yeah.
because he beat those people to the patent.
And you
Look,
know,
no, go ahead.
you know what's the thing? If you start a business and that business becomes like Uber successful, right? And you don't patent the name to that business,
Yeah,
another motherfucker can come along and buy the name to your shit.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Really?
that's why as it's getting successful, or even before it even becomes successful, this is what you do. You patent the name, you patent the trademark. That's the first thing you do. No, that's the truth. Yeah, I got
I,
you.
and I get it, man. That's good business, man. But good business don't always align with good morality.
Lawrence says Black History Month back when I was in school was depressing. I knew it was something more to us than just slavery and civil rights movement.
Hey, man, look,
That's real shit.
I've never seen and I refuse to watch 12 Years a Slave.
Oh,
I,
hell
I,
no.
I don't have any criticisms about the material. God, you know, God bless those people. I don't have any criticisms about the actors outside of them being fucking British. I don't want to see a slave movie, bro. I don't.
You
I
you
don't.
know you know
I
what
mean,
about
at least not now, man. You know, I got to be ready for it because I do crave that history. But we're more than that.
you see that's the thing is they show that part of human bondage purposely. They pretty much erased all the revolts that was going on during that time. And it was a lot, bro. It was a lot of revolts going on. Fonda says trademarks are important, which is true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just being that's just savvy, man. It's just
Yeah.
just covering all your bases, and I think that's another thing that our community is guilty of.
We did
We
not.
we, we do not cover all of
But
the
see,
bases.
that's the whole point, though. Is part of his education, part of his education, and passing that education along, right? Then part of it was looking at these movies, these brothers and these sisters or these white folks or whoever striking it big on idea. They don't tell you about the trademarks and shit that they have to do and get put in place and the tax shelter, tax shit you had to put in. They don't tell you about that because it's a movie. But see, that's where our blueprint comes from. Because you gotta think about it. Common sense says if you're going into a business, you're the greatest cook in 3 states. People come to your house and you selling plates out of your crib. You wanna make it into a business, the whole nine. Before you make it into a business, either go to a lawyer or somebody who knows what you need to have in place.
Man, look, all I want to do is make these plates, man.
You're damn right.
All I want to do is make these plates.
You damn right.
That's why black people get fucked over because all they want to do is be the artist.
But okay.
All they want to do is be
No,
the artist.
no,
No, that's
no.
really.
I disagree with you with that, Jacory. I
Why is it?
think
Why you think Kanye West started rapping?
because Kanye wanted to be a star. He was getting paid.
Exactly.
Producers get paid more money than rappers.
Exactly. Black people always want to be the artist.
Because he is an artist.
My point is,
No,
my
I
point,
understand your point.
my point is, okay, all right, fine, be the artist, but know how to conduct your business.
Now that's true.
Know how to conduct the whole business, bro.
Because you
That's
think
what I'm
about
saying.
I want to read what Jeff said first. Then I want to make a point. I think that is good thing that our people recognize the history of black people, but I also think that this country will never get better unless other cultures realize and respect the black people has done for this country. They're not going to me, Jeff, great point, but they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. You want to know why? The easiest thing to do is to ignore somebody else's contribution if you are benefiting from it. That's the easiest thing to do. That's just how I feel, man. You know what I mean? I'm not disagreeing with you, Jeff. It's just a simple fact that you have to start within. We have to recognize what we've done. And as a community, accelerate our what am I thinking about? Accelerate our potential and understand our worth.
I think not only is it important for us to recognize our achievements, but I think it's doubly important for us to use our fucking achievements.
Yeah. I was who was I was looking at? One of our scholars, and he said he gave his definition of community. What's a community? And he said a community has to do with having your dollars stay in your community, meaning the majority of your dollars stay there. So you have grocery stores, you have clothing stores, you have all these different things that sustains a community. Stay there. That qualifies as a community. But he said a lot of our black where black people live, they're in the category of neighborhood, meaning they got to go out. They got to go out to spend their money. You know, we always talk about the money that we spend yearly that is larger than a lot of countries' economy, but the majority of that money is going out of our community. And how do you do that? How do you keep it there?
You keep it there, man, by creating industry there in,
Yeah,
in the community. I mean, it's places in the black community that are known for a thing. Okay, you go to Texas to a certain neighborhood, and one of their claims to fame is, yeah, we got the best barbecues out this motherfucker. If you can find a way, figure out a way to build around that concept, that will increase community.
but a lot of
That
that have to have trust with one another too, right? That's a
yeah,
big thing with us.
yeah. I mean, but if everybody's eating, they'll be trusted at least for a little while until somebody starts to get different ideas.
I think
But there's got to be a stabilizer there though.
you don't have to have full trust, but you have to have enough trust to know that there's income being generated and you bring other communities into your community. You know what I'm saying? At one time that happened. But then when we was, he said, when Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights Bill, it doomed the mom and pop stores. It doomed the
Absolutely.
neighborhood. It
Absolutely.
doomed everything because everybody wanted to be. We fought to go to stores outside our neighborhood.
Hmm. And
Then
we
we
achieve,
then we neglected the ones. Yeah.
we achieved equality. But the thing was, man, black people, we didn't get the memo on exactly what equality was.
When you're in survival mode, and I've always said this over the years, I think our community has not. What's the mode after survival? Because we have not gotten there yet. It is all survival. People are working, maintaining, doing everything they can to take care of their family, and they might do certain things for other folks, but we are still in survival mode, meaning we putting our heads down and we just working. We get what we need, and this is what we do, right? So
But what percentage of what percentage of any community can afford to work hard, put their shoulder on it, and then rest on their laurels? Nobody can do that.
but
It's
see, but think about Chinatown, right? Think about the Japanese communities where folks is coming into those communities. They're coming into they're spending in those communities, the Italian communities. People are coming into those communities spending money. Our community, we're not. People are not coming into our community spending money. We're going out. That's the key to it. You know what I mean? It's not who you spend your money with. It's how your money circulates within the community before it goes out. Fonda said the problem is blacks will ask black businesses for a hookup and not ask white businesses. I look for black owned businesses first without asking for a hookup.
You see, yeah, I patronize black businesses in every opportunity.
I do too.
Sometimes I look for them. But see, the difference between black and white businesses is the fact that even though even though it's a lie, white businesses are more willing to tell you that hey, we got a coupon for this, or it's 50% off on this.
Because
Black
it's
business,
about the money. It's
yeah,
about the
but
money.
you're gonna pay the full price in the end.
Yeah. But it's about the money. It's about bringing you in,
Mm.
capturing it. See, here's the thing, and it's a good point, Fonda.
You, so you don't think black businesses feel the need to pander?
But see, here it depends on who you are, man. Because see, I've been going to black businesses like plumbers and different guys like electricity,
Mm.
and had great dialogue. Like, hey, man, listen, I could charge you for this, right? But I can get it done for this. Not you getting the hookup. No, you want some people to come into your house and say, and white people do it. Black people do. I've had black people do it too. Like, bro, listen. I know you called me here for this, but this is really the problem. Once I get this done, and it might be being paid the same thing, but you're directing me to the actual problem. I've had brothers and sisters do that. So this is why I look for black businesses too. And I feel special because they black, but I've had white businesses do the same thing, especially when they're trying to come up. Now the bigger ones, you know what I'm talking about, the bigger companies that come in, they don't give a damn. They know the problem as soon as they look at it. But they say, hey, you hired us for the quadruple maintenance joint. So we're gonna come in and we're gonna do this. Even though they know they could fix that right there. So it has to do with being a reputable businessman, I think. But to find this point, I've always hated that, man.
I,
Know what I
I,
mean?
I never ask black people
For
to
what? Why would you do that?
never, never. Especially when I look for them.
Yeah.
When I look for them, yeah, all right, yeah, let's do the business, bro. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna show the love, all right, that's cool. But
No, no. Oh,
and if you do it right, you my guy.
I'm gonna keep it buck. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm going to the Better Business the Better Business Bureau review on that company now.
Mm, yeah,
I'm going to do that
yeah, that's it, right. That's it, right. As a
because
consumer,
that's
that's it,
good
right.
business. Period. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But I'm willing
yeah.
to give them a shot at least, for real, for real.
Look, sometimes Malika says sometimes we pay more at black businesses because they're paying more for their product. It makes it harder sometimes to support them consistently so they're able to build and expand. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a good point, Malika. It's a good point. I think I would develop a good relationship with that black business owner. You know what I'm saying? But you know, if he can't if he is not established enough where he's charging me for the bigger companies, whether they're white or black, the bigger companies will give it to you for free. I'll come to you every once in a while because that's good business. You feel what I'm saying? Now, if I was filthy rich, I'm gonna write the check because I'm supporting you. You know what I mean? But if I'm trying to get my life together, you know what I'm saying, dog? No, man. But what's this? Malika got another one. Let me see. No, this is Jeff. Jeff said I would look for black businesses because I do want to give back to the community. But I like businesses sometimes but I like businesses sometimes we're overcharged for food. Oh my God, man. Yes, sir. Or going to the clubs instead of getting to know their community, treat their treat them fairly. I'm sorry, or treat them fairly. Sometimes the owners of the businesses are very selfish, trying to make themselves rich and not the community. I mean, that's a good point, Jeff. But you know what? That's the funny thing about it when it comes to the food thing because Jeff is in Atlanta, and I know he paying about $10 for a damn Snicker bar down there. So you get the because the cuisine and they're supposed to be high realm cuisine in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? But they at one time they got outrageous down there, man. Oh yeah. If you can't order online and you can't do this and you can't do that. Well, you don't want my money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Around where I'm at, man, you go to a Jamaican restaurant, get yourself a beef patty. It's $10.
Mm.
Really?
What the
Nah, I
hell
bet
is? I'm sorry, Spo, but I just have to ask you, what the hell? Why is cowtail so damn expensive?
I
Expensive.
don't know. I don't know. And
Somebody explain.
I tell people all the time, man. Grandma always had a pot of oxtails,
Yeah,
a pot of oxtails that was enough to feed three 6 foot plus footers.
yeah.
I mean, hell, five. I mean, Mom was 6 foot. Pop was over 6 foot.
Yeah,
Uncle Kenny,
yeah,
Robin,
yeah.
always had a pot of oxtails on the doggone stove, man. Were they expensive like that back then?
I don't know, man. I just know, getting oxtails from any Jamaican restaurant, you gonna pay a grip.
In the grocery store too.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. Uh, I think, and this is how I feel wholeheartedly, is we Malika said it was less than $5 for a pack. I don't know what the hell. This must be some special cows, man, because
Yeah.
that shit is crazy now. I love
Coke.
me some oxtails too, though, bro. For real.
Look,
But
it was years, man. I refuse to eat oxtails, man. I just recently started eating oxtails a couple of years ago when Nikki started making them. But
uh-huh. Mhm.
yeah, I got a thing against soul food, man. Or what people
What
what
the hell is you talking
I got
about?
a thing against I got a thing against soul food, man.
Oh my
Or what people might consider soul food, like fucking a lot of black people may consider like I'll just say for example like pinto beans and cornbread. A lot of black people might consider that comfort food. That just pisses me off, man. We always had a pot of beans in the house. Always had goddamn cornbread in the house. I would have to ask for fucking light bread. Who the fuck got to ask for light bread?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, Grandma, why we can't just have sandwiches sometimes?
Man, look. Black eyed peas, navy beans.
Oh, I got so tired of that shit.
Man, are you
Oh, I'm
kidding
so
me?
tired of that shit, bro.
No, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir, man.
Look, if I look,
No, no, you 6'8" for a reason.
I get it. I understand. I
That's
understand.
the truth.
I understand. Look, if I eat anybody's soul food now, they are a hell of a cook.
I get
Yeah,
it.
they are a hell of a cook.
See, but see, here's the thing. Soul food is what? And people in the comments, let us know what y'all consider soul food. But soul food to me is greens with the ham hocks or whatever. Black eyed peas is soul food to me, even though it's a regular staple. But I consider soul food is what I grew up on, right? Uh, Let me see. Soul food, salt pork after you boil them shits, salt pork, uh, cornbread biscuits, and syrup, KO syrup. You know what I'm saying? That's soul food to me. And some of the examples, you know what I'm saying?
But I mean, a lot people from different communities, man. If you mention soul food to them, they're either going to say barbecue or fried chicken,
Yeah, of course.
greens, potato salad. They're going to mention a particular a particular plate that they've seen a picture of. They
Look,
don't really understand, all that soul food fucking encompasses with that.
let's keep it a buck. We on that train. Hog maw, pig feet. You feel what I'm saying?
So tired of that shit, man.
Oh my God, man, are you
Tired
kidding
of
me?
this. Oh my
When
god.
I run into somebody who can do it, I'm on it.
Mm.
Now I stopped eating chitlins when my grandma stopped making them. I ain't never eat our mom's chitlins, man. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
ain't never been a chilling fan. But I
No,
mean,
yeah, I mean it is what it is. It's basically a delicacy. Hell, we used every Christmas, ladies and gentlemen, we used to get fucking. My grandma used to bring in raccoon, right?
raccoons. Yeah.
I never knew what a raccoon was until one day one of the hunters, instead of chopping his head off, he skinned it alive. Where on his paws it was fur, and then he had the damn his head,
Hmm.
but he had skinned the head too. So I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. But especially like in the half-ass city where we live, you got to do that.
Yeah,
You got to leave the paws and the head on so you ain't got a cat.
that's real. That's real. It makes sense. But yeah, man. Yeah, look. Malika said soul food is was scraps and food that you can stretch for large families. black learned to season it so it was edible. I was going to say that's the key to it, the seasoning. The seasoning, man. You know what I'm saying? Because imagine eating pig, and if you was it was a staple, pig intestine, chitlins was a staple in your house, and you just boiled them motherfuckers and just ate them with no salt and pepper, no red pepper, none of that. You know what I'm saying? Come on, dog. You know what I mean? Look, the vinegar for and look, they put vinegar in pig feet for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because pig been walking in shit their whole life. You know what I'm saying? I'm laughing, man, because I used to fuck some pig feet up, man.
What the skin? The skin?
The skin, man. Yeah.
Oh my God, no.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know when I slowed down was I'm trying to think. I can't remember who cooked them, but they nice big hot plate of it, right? I'm eating them Jones, right? And I bit into something. It was sharp. And it stuck in my gum. It was one that they didn't pull all the hair out of the pig feet. It was a hair follicle.
Oh man. Oh man.
That is
Nah,
hilarious.
I can't stand. Like you go to Popeyes or whatever, or KFC, man, or whatever, like chicken, chicken fast food joint or whatever, and get your chicken out. How do you feel about it, Keith? When you see feathers on the chicken?
Yeah, yeah.
I know people who just eat it. They just eat the
It's,
shit.
yeah. It's fast food restaurant, man.
I'm like,
You
you
never see no feathers, man.
yeah, you savage motherfuckers. You just gonna eat the goddamn chicken. You not even gonna pick the feathers off. The last time I seen that shit, man, it was a KFC. I throw the whole goddamn box of chicken away, man. I can't eat this shit.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. And that's the thing about it, bro, is we sit here like the thing that's been floating around that we don't have no culture. The American black folks don't have no culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Bro, we live the culture. People snipe from it for a reason. People who come from the continent of Africa have their own way of dressing, but guess who they dress like? I'm speaking in general more than anything. Who they dress like. We push that. It's entertainment, though. And that bothers me more than anything. It's entertainment. But really and truly, they still are behavior attributes too. Meaning how we carry ourselves in life, how we move. We move. To me, black folks move with a purpose, man.
But see, that's the paradox for me, man. Because foreigners, foreigners and Caucasians, man, they use us as a gauge of maturity. See, they'll indulge in hip hop culture and R&B culture and they'll learn how to play the blues when they're young. But as they get older and start to acquire more responsibility, they'll let that shit go. And that's fine and good, man. It's fine and good, but don't demonize it because that shit was a very important part of your development.
You know what? Well,
And
you
now
know,
you
I
just
think
you just cast it aside because your dad told you that one day you'll learn.
but here's the thing, and this is to your point, right? And then I have a question for you. Well, something that Lawrence just said. Here's the point. They always look for us for comfort and entertainment. We are mirrored in that sense, right? But they ignore the most important part of us. We exist here and we move and we continue to grow for a reason. Our main problem is, to me in this country, is we don't get our due, but we don't put things in place so we can get our due as a community. You feel what I'm saying? Am I making sense to you? Like, you looking at the what you feel the best part of me, your entertainment, right? Uh, our fearlessness. Oh, they look at it and they try to mirror it too, right? But they don't look at us as a whole. Just my point. Um, let's do this real quick, and then we're gonna shut this down. Fonda says she burns the feathers off before washing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
apparently there's a whole thing about cleaning your chicken and
yeah. Some people say you shouldn't clean it. You know what I mean? Malika said, the statement about us not having a culture. How do you live without a culture? Which is true. Blacks, this right here. Blacks in America had to create a culture because we were stripped of our ancestral culture. It's true.
a lot of times, man. I mean, it takes a very special eye for a person to realize that they are the culture when they're living the culture.
As well. You have to slow up enough to see exactly your impact and who you are.
Mhm.
But see, you know what? That's actually being a human being. How many times have you felt a certain way growing up? And then you ran into somebody. This has happened to me many times. I feel a certain way, like, for example, not being heard. And then either immediately or years later, I run into somebody and they say to me, I heard you then, and it changed everything about who I wanted to be. And it's happened to me all the time.
But for me, man, that goes back to what you were saying earlier about if you had the answer, you would just give it.
Hmm.
That's kind of like why I said, I would give it, but I don't. I couldn't have any expectations of people accepting it because I would take that personally, and for me, that would taint the message.
That's real. I
If it's
agree
im-
with that.
if,
Well, I think I agreed with it. So,
if it's important enough, if the message is important enough for me to throw caution to the wind and put myself out there, then am I praying for a positive result? Hell yeah, but I was called to impart this message, and I'm gonna do my job.
yeah,
If I'm here to police, I'm gonna police. If I'm here to sell dope, I'm gonna fucking sell dope. I'm gonna do my job.
yeah. So, last question of the day. Lawrence mentioned it a couple times. The FBA, financial, damn, financial, foundational Black Americans. It's a concept. They try to make it a group, whatever. They might be a group loosely formed, but really and truly, people are grabbing on to it. And we discussed this on earlier podcasts. What is your opinion about it?
Honestly, man, I don't know much about it. I mean, I've heard things about it.
But no,
I've
let me
heard.
let me give you the short synopsis of it. And it's a little more, but really and truly, Tariq Tariq Nasheed, he grabbed onto it. He didn't invent the word, but he grabbed onto it. Meaning the American blacks who who can say that they are descendants of slaves, foundational Black Americans. Now, originally, what it had to do with getting reparations, and what they're still on, right? But lately, Nasheed has been on the us against them. Jeff is foundational Black Americans. So if you can trace your roots back to slaves, then that's what you are, a foundational Black American. This is a theory that people have. But it was basically done for reparations, for us to get reparations. So if you could prove that, you come from slavery, right, then you should get reparations for it, right? But Tariq is debating folks from the islands, black folks from the islands, and black folks from Africa, right? Like, you don't belong here. He's on that kind of rhetoric. So he divided into two, right? Because how many times you heard somebody from the islands where they indirectly, maybe not being malicious, saying that you American blacks don't know how good you have it, and you're lucky and you're lazy, the white rhetoric, you're lazy and all this. I got 2 jobs, you know what I'm saying? Same thing from folks from Nigeria, Ghana, different places. They're saying the same thing. Now, these are small percentages of folks saying this shit, but they're going on social media, and these folks are battling it out and kind of tainting what the FBA people want. You know what I'm saying? And they want reparations. That's their goal. I couldn't tell you who invented it and all that. Tariq, he grabbed it, and then he was on it like that. So with that being said, folks in the comment, do you have a comment about it? Do you have a problem with immigrants coming from Africa, coming from the islands and different places?
Yeah, I would say I don't have a problem with it, man. But at the same time, I have no expectation of loyalty. I've heard too many times, we are not the same, Armstrong. You are black, I am black. Yes, okay, but that is what it is. We are not the same. I understand. I understand. But you work for me, all right, bro? Nah, nah. But I mean, yeah, like I said, I have no expectation of loyalty, man. That's what the last 2 years have done to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not out of malice. It's not out of malice. Everybody's chomping at the bit, for an inch forward. I get it. I get it. But don't shit on us, man.
Yeah.
Don't shit on us. And certainly don't sit in the fucking class, man, and let these motherfuckers demonize us.
They,
I don't even want to get into that.
Lawrence, I thought they were both combined. They're working together hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I don't know a lot about it, but Fonda said she appreciates the concept. I understand why you would appreciate it, right? I think if I have a problem, this is what I have. Being in this country for 61 years, I have been divided and pushed away from all kinds of groups because they look at me as being lowly. They look at me as being this. They look at me as being that, right? Though I appreciate ADOS and FBA, right? I appreciate them. But I'm not going to sit here and argue about being separate from other folks unless they bring that bullshit to me. Then I have ammunition to combat it. You understand what I mean, Jaquari?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because what I'm doing is speaking from logic. I'm not discrediting them. I'm not doing anything but this. What the fuck are we as black folks saying? You don't belong with us unless you're attacking me, telling me that I ain't shit. I simplified it. No, I had to simplify it that way. It's more to it, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's got its nuances, man. I quite honestly, man, yeah, some, uh, as I think about it, the way you described it, some of us got married. Some of us got married. I mean, yeah, shit, yeah. We need a fucking break. We need a voice, and with money comes a voice. With reparations come comes a certain power.
Yeah, that's real.
I just wish that we could figure out a way to generate that power from within. From within, you know what I mean?
I know. I know. Hey, great discussion. Fonda, Malika, Lawrence. Let me make sure I get everyone. Jeff, man, y'all brought the heat today. Thank you. Thank you so very much, folks. Love every one of y'all. These are my peoples. No, they good people though. Lawrence, I got you, dog. You know what I'm saying? Um, Jaquari,
Mm-hmm.
Damon, we missed you today, brother. Love you, bro.
Love you,
What
brother.
uh,
See you next time,
what are your last words for today?
brother. I've thoroughly enjoyed tonight's conversation, and I look forward to the next. You be safe.
And also, YouTube folks, ASMN Will, appreciate you tuning in. Dre Mullins, it's always a pleasure. Friend of the show. Love you, bro. But listen, we'll be back here next week. This is Strong Perspective Podcast. Please go to our YouTube channel, share with your friends and neighbors. Build our numbers up. Like, share, and subscribe. I want to let you guys know that we're going to have, it won't be a complete theme of Black History Month through the month of February, but we're gonna be a little heavy because I feel as though we need to chronicle just different things, how we feel, stereotypes, the whole nine. Because there's a lot of stereotypes, ladies and gentlemen, and it is crazy. And everyone that will bring you is basically the one that's disputed. Like I said, please go to our YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe. Y'all be safe. Hopefully, y'all don't get a big amount of snow this weekend. But this is Strong Perspective Podcast. We'll see you next week.